Good evening and welcome to Newswatch on the 3rd day of December 2020. Only 22 days to Christmas. Thank you for choosing Hope TV, where you look and live. My name is Teresia Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Top on our bulletin tonight, Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko has been impeached after 88 out of 122 Nairobi MCAs voted in favor of a motion seeking to oust him from office, with only 2 MCAs among those who were present in the assembly voting against the motion. The embattled governor was impeached on allegations of abuse of office, gross misconduct, as well as lack of capability to run the county affairs. Accusations that he has repeatedly denied. The impeachment came even as the governor took about 70 MCAs who were allied to him at a hotel in Kwale County, where they declared they will not take part in the Thursday's afternoon assembly session, only to claim they were being logged into the chambers through the system illegally. His impeachment is expected to trigger a legal battle, as the Employment and Labor Relations Court had earlier this week issued orders temporarily barring the county assembly from debating the motion pending the hearing of a case filed by the governor.
400 million, one lawyer. 200 million, one lawyer. 100 million, one lawyer. At the expense of the roads. And the money having been diverted. Mr. Speaker, sir, as an assembly, we can only stand up and correct that mess. Mr. Speaker, sir, on the second item of bursaries, members of this House will agree with me, particularly them who have come here severally, that when the last regime left, we have a bursary fund in this county, which I think that we actually legislated.
I don't know what to call it.
Signature Mutura hata tayari hata nikujulishe tu ndio ujue kama utalala mahulani. Signature tumefikisha 71. And we are coming for you, my brother. Umeongoza kitu ya bandia ya kuweka watu katika mtandao na wako Kwale. How is it I can be here and I don't even have my phone? How are we voting?
And the national government has called on medical workers to suspend the strike that was set to begin on 7th December so as to allow the government address their issues appropriately. Speaking in Nairobi, the CS for Labor and Social Protection, Simon Chelugui, said the government is working to ensure all healthcare workers across the country are given NHIF cover. At the same time, Health PS Susan Mochache has confirmed that the government has set aside 6.3 billion Kenya shillings for NHIF to offer comprehensive cover to healthcare workers. This comes a day after nurses joined the list of those challenging the Building Bridges initiative with a petition to stop the ongoing signature drive in claims that their proposals to the BBI steering committee were not captured. Mark Kimondo now reports.
Sante.
The national government, through the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection, has appealed to unions representing healthcare workers in the country to call off the healthcare workers' national strike that was set to begin on 7th of December this year.
Kenyans, I want to tell you that you are on your own. The patients in the hospitals, I want to tell you, you are on your own.
Labour Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui has said the government is committed to address the issues that have been raised by medics. The CS confirmed that the Ministry of Health has engaged NHIF to offer comprehensive medical cover to all medics across the country.
We have engaged National Hospital Insurance Fund to offer comprehensive medical cover or medical scheme for all public servants, including the health workers working in the national government.
And in fact, all the public servants are going to get their medical cover, which also includes taking care of COVID expenses while in hospital. The cover is also comprehensive enough. It also has some resources for purposes of sending off or burial costs associated with any person that may lose their life.
As of today, the country has lost more than 30 medical workers to COVID-19. With this reason, the government has directed KEMSA to release personal protective equipment worth 3 billion shillings to cushion healthcare workers in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic.
We have ordered the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA, to release all the PPEs available at their stores, with the priority being the utilization by health workers.
This comes 2 days after members of parliament approved a report compelling the health ministry to direct KEMSA to release all PPEs at their stores. Health unions had threatened to go on strike over the lack of comprehensive medical cover, severe shortages of critical healthcare workers in the fight against COVID-19.
We want to appeal to them to recognize the effects of this pandemic across the globe. Many countries have had their economies crashing. Kenya is not an exception. And I think for us here in Kenya, we have had to respond very effectively because we borrowed lessons from other countries such as China and Italy. I think courtesy of the PS Health, I am a member of the COVID-19 task force.
The CS wants the unions to suspend their planned strike and give the government time to implement their grievances. Meanwhile, the government has come up with a technical team comprising officials from the Ministry of Labour and representatives of the 3 trade unions so as to mop out issues raised in the strike notice.
I wish to call upon the unions to suspend their strike of 7th December 2020 as the government works around the clock to address their grievances.
On Wednesday, nurses joined the list of those challenging the Building Bridges Initiative report with a petition to stop the ongoing signature drive. The nurses claimed that their proposals on the BBI steering committee were not captured in the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill. Meanwhile, health unions led by KMPDU are expected to release a statement in response to the offer by the government.
The question remains, will health workers who are set to begin a nationwide strike 4 days from today change their mind now that the government has confirmed that it will address some of their demands? Mark Kimondo for Hope TV, Nairobi.
The national government, through the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection, has appealed to unions.
Activities have called for the distribution of the Building Bridges Initiative referendum bill for Kenyans to read and make informed decisions. The leaders that are allied to Deputy President William Ruto claimed that they had not seen copies of the bill, despite the fact that more than 1 million signatures had been collected in support of the bill. The group, which said it was behind the Deputy President in his 2022 presidential bid, said they would oppose the bill if it is not distributed to them or the contents not represent the views of all Kenyans.
Kwa nini leo hii vimekuwa hii handshake mumeshikana na huyu Raila ambaye ulituambia ni mbaya? Hujatuletea hata karatasi ya kutuambia kwamba Raila amepona ndio mumeshikana handshake. Hujatuletea karatasi ya kwamba sahi Raila si mwenda wazimu tushikane handshake. Hujatuambia kwamba tujaona ameombewa si mganga tena umetuletea handshake. Tutaamini lipi?
Juzi kulikuja formula ya 1 man 1 shilling 1 vote. Na mara 11 ikaangushwa senator wakikataa hiyo formula ifanyike. Lakini leo tunakuja kuona kwamba hiyo formula wametumbukiza katika BBI ili ikipita hiyo formula iweze kutumika. Wamesema watapatia mgao 35% kila county. Lakini formula itakayotumika ni 1 man 1 shilling 1 vote. Narudi kusema kama Mazayo kwamba wao kule juu watapata. Na hiki tutakachopata hapa sisi pia tushirikiane sote. Huko utakuwa ni usawa kweli.
Kiti yetu ya women rep ambayo ilikuwa katika national government, ambao kiti hiyo ilikuwa na mfuko maalum umetengwa, Affirmative Action Fund, inasaidia mama, inasaidia mlemavu, wanaoishi na ulemavu, na inasaidia kijana. Mfuko huo kufikia sasa tukipitisha BBI tutakuwa hatuna tena. Ni kwa sababu kiti hicho kimeondolewa. Kiti hicho kimeondolewa mkitudanganya kwamba ama kutuadaa kwamba mnaongeza maeneo bunge. Maeneo bunge yale mnayaongeza, viti hivyo vitagombewa na wanaume kwa wanawake, ambao sisi wanawake tutavinyimwa tayari.
BBI kwa sasa hivi sisi tunaipinga kwa sababu hatujasoma. Tuletewe zile stakabadhi sisi kama viongozi. Hawa ni wote ni viongozi hawa. Na hakuna hata mmoja ambaye amepata hata kopi moja ambao anaweza kumsomea mwingine. Na kama wapwani na ambao hawakusoma, tafadhalini. Juzi rais pia alisema kwamba ripoti hii inaweza kuchapishwa hata kwa Kiswahili. Mradi yule mnyonge, yule hasla, tunazungumzia watu asilimia karibu 90 ambao ni hustlers, wapate kusoma ili kusikuwe na ule mvutano wa kwamba huyu anapinga, huyu ana nini.
Omar Boga, the ODM candidate in the Msambweni by-election, would have secured victory if the elections were to be held today. A survey report by Trends and Insights for Africa, TIFA, has revealed that Boga is enjoying a comfortable lead ahead of his close competitor Faisal Bada, with other candidates like Ali Hassan and Marere Mwachai trailing. The poll released on Thursday showed that 54% of the constituents prefer the ODM candidate, compared with the 29% rating for Bada, who is an independent. Dickens Luvanda has this story.
A latest opinion poll by Trends and Insights for Africa, TIFA, has placed ODM's Omar Boga in the lead in terms of popularity in the December 15th Msambweni by-election. The candidate will win by 54% of the votes cast ahead of the rest if the elections were to be held today. Independent candidate Faisal Bader, who enjoys massive support from the Tanga political outfit led by Deputy President William Ruto, will come second with the 29% if elections were to be held today, followed by Ali Hassan Mwakulonda of the Party for Economic Democracy at 9%, and finally Marere Mwachai, who was the area member of parliament between 1997 and 2002, will be the fourth at 2%.
Mpinzani wa Boga alianza kampeni yake, alianza katika ofisi ya William Ruto Karen. Clearly he is not running for himself. Yeye ni mtu ametumwa aran kwa sababu ya watu wengine kuvunja umoja na nguvu ya upwani.
Na sisi tuko hapa kutetea chama cha chungwa, kumtetea ndugu yetu Omar Boga.
Sisi wana Wiper tumekuja kwanza hapa Kwale, sio tu kuwaonyesheni ama kuzindua ndugu yetu SMA
na Mvurya hoye, na Faisal hoye.
Despite the ongoing campaigns, the opinion poll also shows that there will be voter apathy in Msambweni, with at least 42% of the voters citing a busy schedule as a reason to skip the mini poll. The survey conducted between 29th of November and December 1st, 2020 indicated that another 43% of the 320 respondents said they will not vote because the outcome will not make a difference in their lives, with 4% and 5% citing fear of violence and COVID-19 respectively as the reason as to why they will not vote, while 7% expressed concerns of rigged elections.
As TIFA,
46% of the respondents said they are familiar with ODM candidate Omar Boga. Independent candidate Faisal Bader came in second with 36%, while Ali Hassan Mwakulonda is considered most familiar by 13% of the area residents, ODM being the most popular party in the constituency, followed by Jubilee Party. The survey also listed unemployment and poverty as one of the major problems facing Msambweni residents, with 86% and 36% rates each. 15% of the residents citing land issues and insecurity respectively, while lack of water was listed at 14%. Already, the IEBC has started training election officials who will officiate the by-election, which has seen Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho and his Kwale counterpart Salim Mvurya flex their muscle in support of Boga and Bader respectively, in an effort to succeed ODM Suleiman Dori, who passed on in March this year. Dickens Rwanda, Hope TV News Watch.
The National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, has added its voice on the ongoing debate on BBI referendum and signature collection. Addressing the press, the leadership of the council, led by the General Secretary, Reverend Canon Chris Kinyanjui, and Chairperson Archbishop Timothy Ndambuki, said the proposals that NCCK forwarded to the BBI Secretariat have been included in the document. However, the Christian body has called for an inclusive national dialogue process to be established to ensure all the concerns of Kenyans are taken into account so as to build a consensus on the proposals.
This executive committee has noted the number of concerns we raised. This committee has noted that a number of concerns we raised were addressed, which include: 1, the proposed National Police Council was removed. Number 2, the gender representation in Parliament has been clarified. And 3, the proposed nomination of commissioners of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission by political parties has been removed. The Executive Committee also recalls the proposals that NCCK had made in the past have been included in the bill. These are: 1, we had called for the BBI to make the government inclusive by creating the office of the Prime Minister and 2 deputies. NCCK also called for the process to dignify the opposition by reinstating the position of the leader of official opposition, who will be the runners-up in the presidential election, while their running mate would serve as the leader of the official opposition at the Senate. This has also been taken into account. This executive committee meeting nonetheless recognizes that the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020 presents a wider range of recommendations beyond what we have highlighted above, some of which are still of concern to us. And these include: 1, the removal of vetting of some presidential appointees by Parliament, and 2, the weakening of separation of powers and checks and balance between the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. So we recommend as follows. We call upon there to be an inclusive national dialogue process to be established to ensure all the concerns of Kenyans are taken into account so as to build consensus on the proposals and the process. 2, we also propose that a comprehensive civic education be undertaken to ensure that Kenyans are made aware of the contents and make informed choices. And 3, a joint committee of the Senate and the National Assembly to study and make amendments to the electoral laws in preparation of the 2022 general election. And finally, a National Constitutional Conference be convened to build consensus around the proposed constitutional amendments.
Now, Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Interior, Dr. Karanja Kibicho, has led the National Celebrations Committee for a tour of the Nyayo Stadium to inspect the progress of preparation of the venue ahead of this year's Jamhuri Day celebrations. This year, due to COVID-19 restrictions, only 5,000 guests will be allowed at the Nyayo Stadium, where the celebrations will be marked. Jamhuri Day is a national holiday celebrated on 12th December each year to mark the date when Kenya became a republic in 1964.
Nyayo Stadium is complete, like you can see, and the physical preparation of the infrastructure is minimal, and therefore we are paying more attention to the softer side of the celebrations. As you are aware, we are in the middle of COVID, and therefore we will have a slightly different way of celebrating, a hybrid between a completely virtual and of course a real one, and therefore we will see very diminished numbers here, from the 30,000 that we usually get in this field. We will be having our military parade, and that's basically what's causing us to come to Nyayo Stadium, because of the space, because of the importance of Jamhuri Day to our country and our history. We'll be having full trooping of the colors from the Kenya Defence Forces, but that does not mean we come to an empty stadium. So we'll be inviting only 5,000 members of the public. We will issue cards to them so that the issue of social distance does not become a challenge for that day. And we have asked the regional team to look at the entire spectrum of citizens across Nairobi, so that each one of them will be represented during that day. In our assessment, we are ready. We have looked at every detail that's required here. We have looked at entertainment, we have looked at security, we have looked at all the other protocols that accompany a celebration of this nature, and we are convinced as the National Celebrations Committee that we are more than ready to host this National Day here.
Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has opposed Deputy President William Ruto's call to have a referendum held alongside the 2022 general election. Ruto, who addressed a press conference alongside political leaders allied to him on Wednesday, said there is no hurry to have a national referendum. Kalonzo, who spoke on Thursday after receiving an update report on the BBI signature collection from Lower Eastern, however, said conducting the two elections together will cause confusion in the election process. Alice Diana tells us more.
A section of political leaders have rejected proposals made by Deputy President William Ruto on the BBI referendum push. On Wednesday, Deputy President William Ruto said the BBI referendum vote should be featured in the 2022 general election as the seventh ballot, with multiple questions to save the current dwindling economy, as well as to allow time for consensus building. Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi, in a social media post, hit out at Ruto over his push for consensus on the Building Bridges Initiative BBI, saying that despite consensus being important, time is of the essence as BBI has timeliness that should be adhered to for the country to have a say and move on. Speaking at the Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation offices in Karen on Thursday, Kalonzo said the proposal to vote on multiple issues will confuse the electorate.
You cannot, as some of our fellow citizens are suggesting, that you vote on a clause by clause, 78, I don't know how many clauses, as if we have not had a referendum in this country before. So, always practice, general practice is what has to happen. So you have to vote yes or no.
The Wiper Party boss at the same time congratulated the Lower Eastern residents for taking part in the BBI signature collection exercise that has seen over 4.6 million signatures collected across the country at the close of the exercise on Wednesday.
In Lower Eastern, the total signatures collected so far, and this is the physical ones, not the, we are about to tabulate the online signatures, is 450,000.
I know the Kenyans have been waiting for me to speak. I'm going to speak. And I'm going to campaign everywhere for this change, because it's the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. Again, constitutions are never written on a stone. They're never written on a stone.
This even as the Nyanza region topped the country in the just concluded national BBI signature collection. Addressing the press in Kisumu, Governor Anyang' Nyong'o said out of the 4.6 million signatures collected across the country, Nyanza bagged 780,424 signatures. Nyanza has been followed closely by Eastern with 761,776 signatures, then Rift Valley with 667,731 and Central with 643,880 signatures. The coastal region has 608,578 signatures, while Western and Nairobi have 525,323 and 461,934 signatures respectively. Northeastern had 135,091 Kenyans appending their signatures to endorse the report. For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Alice Diana.
Let us now take a short break. We have more news coming up, including a court ruling on persons forced into quarantine. Keep it Hope TV.
Tunakuletea burudani safi kutoka wanamuziki wa nyimbo za sifa na ibada, mahojiano ya moja kwa moja na mafunzo ya hali ya juu.
Dhamira ya mtu ikifa anaweza fanya anything. Because kile kinanitofautisha na mbuzi ni dhamira.
There was this time niliambia Mungu, mimi samahani Mungu, lakini naona umenifanya mimi kuwa daraja. Sitaki.
Ni mahali pa uchipuzi na ulezi wa vipaji.
Mwimbaji anaweza itisha akitaka, lakini unajua hiyo ni sauti hajanunua. Hujanunua, hiyo ni umebarikiwa nayo. So hiyo unaweza mupeane aidha bure ama. Lakini hii pande nyingine sisi tumeinvest, ni investment ona.
Tunabeba mwili, lakini mimi sikujua hii ni maagano nafanya.
Ungana naye Mwalimu Shaban Brima kila Ijumaa saa 2 jioni na marudio kila Jumamosi saa 10 jioni.
Machozi ya furaha nishangaze Baba, kwa ushuhuda wangu watambua wewe ni Mungu.
Join John Carson every weekday as he takes us on a journey through the Bible.
Whoever shall seek to save his life, if you go back to living for yourself, you're going to lose it. But whoever shall lose his life, give up his life for my sake, he shall preserve it.
Enjoy interesting, knowledge-packed, yet simple teachings through his humor and in-depth understanding of God's Word.
The last people that tried to put God in a box, literally, he rose again. He wouldn't stay in their compartment. If God was small enough for me to figure out, he wouldn't be big enough for me to worship.
Tune in to Hope TV for John Carson every 10 p.m., 4 a.m., and 10 a.m. weekdays on Hope TV, where you look and live.
What comes to your mind when you think of the perfect home for your family? Is it the beauty, the comfort, the security, the convenience, or even the affordability? Victory Gardens offers exactly that and much more. It is just 10 minutes drive from Kitengela town and 3.8 kilometers off the tarmac. This gated community project comes with solar street lighting, Maram roads, beautiful trees, 24-hour security, and water connected to every plot. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Welcome back. The world has joined persons with disabilities in celebrating International Day of Persons with Disabilities, a day usually set aside to increase awareness of the gains that will be derived from the integration of persons with disabilities in the aspects of political, social, economic, and cultural life. Joseph Atela, an advocate for persons with disability, breaks down the importance of the day and the challenges persons with disabilities continue to face and possible ways the challenges should be addressed by the government and society collectively.
As a person with disability and an advocate for persons with disabilities, Joseph Atelo has reason to break barriers and challenges to become a voice for persons with disability in the country. According to the 2019 census, 2.2% of Kenyans are disabled. Speaking on the gains the country has made in onboarding persons with disabilities, Joseph, who is the chair of the Consortium of Disabled Persons organization in Kenya, says there has been an increase in education scholarship, calling for more interventions to create spaces for those who are mentally challenged.
Currently, at least after the 2010 Constitution, I see there is a big change, because after enactment again of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2003 in Parliament, it gave room for the National Council to support children or students with disabilities. We have a challenge with inclusion and accessibility and in the employment sector as well. So however much we celebrate this day, we are still mourning because we've not been served what really belongs to us. There is a cake in the Kenyan Constitution of 2010, you know, that should have really been implemented as at now.
Joseph is not shy to share his journey from where he came from and the unique challenges that set him back, something he says birthed his passion to champion for the rights of persons with disabilities.
Accessing education became a challenge. I couldn't get school fee, and I tried asking for support from friends, from government institutions, you know, and they weren't. I mean, I wasn't lucky to be supported. So I mean, it created some bitterness, and it also, I mean, made me develop resilience, and also I thought there is this day that I sat somewhere and I just said to myself that I wouldn't be happy seeing someone going through such, I mean, challenges again. So it's that nasty experience in my childhood that propelled me to get into disability rights advocacy. Yeah, so finally I got a scholarship and I'm well educated in management and legal affairs.
Right from childhood, persons with disabilities face a lot of challenges, including societal stigma, lack of acceptance, and discrimination. This, however, only scratched the surface in regards to the unique challenges they continue to face even in adulthood. Employment is a major hurdle for all, not just the disabled. However, for those disabled, it usually poses a greater hindrance for them to secure a job. Narrating his own experience looking for a job, he calls on employers to have an open mind and look beyond the physical challenges.
Whenever a person with disability goes to look for employment, first they see your disability. They don't think of your ability to perform or to deliver. In my CV, I didn't indicate that I'm a person with disability. So I applied for some jobs and I was called for the first interview. I went, and it was a bit sad because they were not that cautious. When my time came for the interview, I went and sat, and they asked, like, one lady asked, like, I just commented that, Pole, we didn't know that ni wewe, you are of this type, you know. So I was like, no, I'm just like, and I was trying to justify my you know, that my ability or my.
Meanwhile, the National Gender and Equality Commission, in a statement, said they remain committed to protect the rights of people with disabilities. Leaders and members of the public also reached out to celebrate the International Day for Disabled Persons. Grace Wangoi, Hope TV News Watch.
The government has been ordered to refund in full monies collected from persons who were forced into mandatory quarantine and forced to pay for upkeep during the first wave of the coronavirus pandemic. In his ruling, High Court Judge Justice James Makau said that the decision to quarantine members of the public without a magistrate's order and forcing them to pay is contrary to the Public Health Act and therefore unconstitutional. The ruling follows an application by activist Okia Omtata in April, who sought to challenge some of the COVID-19 regulations. Less than 5. And Nairobi County Woman Representative Esther Passaris has slammed Deputy President William Ruto over his hustler narrative campaign, saying it may take the country into anarchy. The lawmaker was speaking when she issued National Government Affirmative Action Fund NGAAF table banking checks worth over 20 million Kenya shillings to various CBOs drawn from all 17 constituencies in Nairobi County, when she said the main objective of table banking is to build the capacity of beneficiaries to access credit through self-help groups and to advance their income-generating activities.
Wajua wale ambao wanataka shida, angalia Somalia, angalia Ethiopia sasa. Hatutaki shida Kenya. Nani hapa anataka vita? Sasa hii mambo ya mahasla, hatutaki kufanya kitu ambao itafanya watajiri na maskini waanze kupigana. Kwa sababu kuna tajiri anaweza kuwa na duka na ameandika maskini amfanyie kazi. Si amempatia empowerment. Sasa tukileta hii kitu ya sisi ni mahasla na wao ni tajiri, watakuja kupigana. Na mimi nimefurahi Deputy President alisema ana support the BBI. Kama ana support the BBI, ana support his president, hivyo ndio inatakikana. Hata mwanamke ukiwa na shida na bwanako, unakaa na huyo bwana, si ndio? Hata uende umwambie nani bwanako ako na hii shida, utasaidika aje? Na bado unarudi kwa hiyo nyumba.
Turning to COVID-19 numbers update today, the country recorded the highest number of recoveries in a single day, with 11,324 patients having recovered from the coronavirus disease. The total number of recoveries now stand at 67,788. Out of the 11,324 recoveries, 11,177 recovered from the home-based care program, while 147 were discharged from various hospitals across the country. The number of positive cases has risen to 89,363 after 1,253 more people tested positive from a sample size of 10,750 tested over the last 24 hours. Health Ministry CAS Dr. Rashid Aman, in a press briefing today, also announced that 16 patients had succumbed to the disease, bringing the total fatality to 1,500. The distribution of cases across the country for the top 10 counties is as follows. Nairobi tops with 326, Mombasa 143, Kilifi 105, Kiambu 86, Murang'a 67, Meru 45, Kirinyaga 43, Makueni 36, Migori 35, and Embu 34. A section of students drawn from different universities in the country have called upon the government through the Ministry of Education to employ mechanisms that will end sexual harassment in universities and colleges. The student-led Pan-African movement dubbed Campus Me Too said on Thursday in a press conference that the Ministry of Education has gone silent on sexual harassment. In December last year, the group handed over their petition to Charles Obiero, Deputy Director, Directorate of Higher Education, but nothing has been done. They say students now want to make sexual harassment a topic in every induction for newly enrolled students.
Make sexual harassment a topic in every induction for newly enrolled students. Number 2, conduct a yearly training for all staff on sexual harassment. At the end of the training, all staff must sign a standardized code of conduct and ethics. Number 3, appoint a gender officer with the obligation to facilitate training and outreach on sexual harassment, provide resources and support to victims of sexual harassment, and develop, implement, and review relevant policies on sexual harassment. Number 4, to establish an investigative committee that students can approach when they have received unfair or missing marks due to instances of sexual harassment for university lecturers or staff. And number 5, the last one, to incorporate all these demands into a sexual harassment policy, publish an annual report detailing the progress on achieving the objectives, and implement a sexual harassment assessment survey every 2 years to monitor the issue. It is now 11 months and 2 days since the report was handed over to the Ministry of Education, and we are sorry to say that as students from higher learning institutions, we have not received any feedback.
About 608,578 persons have signed up for the Building Bridges Initiative constitutional review process in the coastal region just a week after the launch of the signature drive. Kilifi County is leading with 230,393 residents having signed up, followed by Kwale with 199,114, Mombasa 109,280, and Taita Taveta 38,436. BBI Coast Regional Coordinator Fadhili Makarani said coastal region will benefit from the proposals, calling on residents to embrace the initiative.
Tunataka tuone wananchi wa Wajir, wananchi wa Mombasa wakisherekea matunda ya katiba yao, wakisherekea devolution, wakisherekea kuona kama vile Wajir waliona barabara ya lami waliweza kuisherekea. Tunataka kuona hata sisi hapa Mombasa hii hospitali tuliokuwa nayo kutoka miaka hiyo ya nyuma, Coast General Hospital, tumepata zingine kama 2. Tumeona hospitali zimetapakaa, lakini tunataka tupate zingine ambazo tutapata level ya juu, na si Mombasa tu, Kenya nzima. Tunataka tuone matunda, tunataka tuone investors wanakuja kwa wingi ndani ya nchi yetu. Hatutaki tena kuona wananchi wanaweza kuchukiana. Mimi kwa sababu ni wa tabaka hii nachukiana na mwenzangu wa tabaka ile. Mambo hayo na kupitia kwa document yetu hii yatawekwa katika kaburi la sahau, na Mwenyezi Mungu azidi kubariki Kenya yetu.
West Pokot Governor Professor John Lonyangapuo has made his third address to the county assembly, where he prided himself in streamlining healthcare, education and agriculture. The governor said he is impressed in the 3 pillars of his manifesto, which are equity, economy and education, saying they have been realized through Mwananchi-driven programs which target the grassroots.
Kwa mara ya kwanza ile chumba ya ICU tumeweka vitanda machine 7. Mmoja ni expensive sana, inaitwa ICU bed na accessories yake. Tuko na 7 na tuko na ventilators 5. Zaidi ya milioni 80 imetumika kwa hiyo shughuli, na kwa hivyo huduma ya karibu kwa watu ambao watahitaji hiyo support machines itakuwa imesunduliwa, na ilikuwa ni heri na bora MCS wajue, kwa sababu wanapitisha budget. At least watu wetu wamejaribu, meaning hiyo pesa ikitoka 15% minimum iende 35% fixed, yamaanisha tutaweza kufanya mengi. Hata scholarship schemes sasa tunaweza kutuma watu wetu waende India, wengine waende Amerika wasome, wengine England. So hiyo ndio mambo nilikuja kusema hapa. Nikasema pia kwamba trainings mingi tumefanya hapa. Pia tumefanya kazi na ambassador Israel, mahali ambapo tutanunua machines ya kushaka maziwa. Leo asubuhi nilienda kuangalia compound mahali itajengwa, nimepeana hotuba kwa assembly. MCS wajue kwamba tumeanza sasa kwa hiyo phase, tumeadvertise leo hii kwa magazeti. So kuanzia sasa mpaka mwezi wa 1 mtaona tunaenda kufanya ground breaking ceremony ya hiyo vitu, ujenzi ya maziwa na ujenzi ya juice ya maembe.
Now, elected leaders from Wajir South constituency in Wajir County have called on President Uhuru Kenyatta to consider creating an extra constituency in their area, which is the third constituency in Kenya in terms of landmass. The leaders who addressed the press in Nairobi said they fully support the BBI, but there is need to ensure the constituency is subdivided to ensure equitable distribution of resources and development.
We, the people of Wajir South, are appealing to His Excellency the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to please consider us and give us another constituency. If I remember very well, long time ago, Wajir used to have 2 constituencies only. One constituency has been divided into 5 constituencies, and still Wajir South remains 1 constituency. The landmass of Wajir South is number 3 in Kenya. And we are asking His Excellency, please to consider us and give us another constituency. Same as Ijara. Ijara also is a large constituency, which also needs another constituency.
Wajir South and Ijara were the constituencies that actually stood up with the President Kenyatta, Jomo Kenyatta. And they were the two that went together. The leaders from those 2 constituencies are the ones that went to Lancaster House in 1964 during the referendum, where actually whether NFD is supposed to be part and parcel of Kenya or they will be joining Somalia. And therefore, these are the 2 constituencies that actually stood up and decided to say that we are part and parcel of Kenya and will continue to remain. And that is where our stand continues to be. But unfortunately, these are the 2 constituencies that have not benefited from subsequent governments that were actually increasing the constituencies and subdividing the constituencies in that matter. That's true.
Samburu West MP Naisula Lesuda seeks to introduce an amendment bill, in the National Assembly, which could yield the much-needed holistic non-motorized transport legislation. If passed by Parliament and subsequently ascended to by the President, the legislative amendment proposal will ensure cycling, walking lanes and all other road infrastructure that aid in attaining sustainable road transport systems in Kenya are placed and practiced. The bill has been approved by the Speaker of the National Assembly and is undergoing drafting and review process before publication and introduction in the House.
When you see us on the roads, do not just see us as nobodies, nothing. Just respect us, share the road. It just takes 1 second to just move and give us 1.5 meters away and overtake us safely so that all of us can get back home. We are trying to embrace the green environment, so by cycling, it helps us achieve that as an objective.
Cycling has been a challenge for us women actually on the roads because no motorist will respect actually a lady cycling. They'll be like, "Ai, hapana msichana wewe haufai kuwa unaendesha baiskeli," and getting all negative vibes from everyone.
With the cyclists, at times after every few meters you get like a big pothole. Sometimes it's just left like that, not maintained, not cleaned. Yes, so that's something which the government can do. We commend them also for the small parts that they've done with the cycling lanes, but there's still a long way to go.
The Traffic Act, as it is, does not protect pedestrians and cyclists, so we've been left vulnerable on the roads, and in case anything happens to a cyclist or a pedestrian, it ends up becoming a roadside deal where you have to negotiate with a motorist, and that is something that we have to put an end to. And for the past years, we've been coming together as cyclists and complaining, but now we actually need the law to come and support us, and we do not want it to be a roadside deal anymore. We want to be able to go to court and protect ourselves and be taken care of by the law. We do have a number of children as well who are walking and cycling, and we need to remember them when we're designing our roads. Unfortunately, most roads that are being designed and constructed in Kenya do not have provisions for safe walking and cycling. As you've heard, we do have some developments in Nairobi and other cities where we have some NMT coming up, but the NMT is not up to standard. You find it ends somewhere. So you wonder, where should this child going to school walk when the road just ends, when the NMT just ends.
Now 500 Ethiopian Jews have been airlifted to Israel in a long-running chronicle. These are the first of several thousand waiting to immigrate there. Most of their community have lived in transit camps in Ethiopia for years as questions over their eligibility have dodged the process. The immigrants are related to Ethiopian Jews brought to Israel decades ago in a series of secret operations. Israel had been accused of delaying bringing the remaining group in. The issue gained greater urgency in recent weeks as fighting between the Ethiopian government and local forces in the Tigray region threatened to spread south to Gondar city, where most of the Jews are now housed. Newswatch now takes another commercial break. We will be back with business and sports news.
Wake up every morning
I shall arise.
with refreshing worship playlists.
So come we're ready for your presence. Till there's only you, Jesus. Amen. Hallelujah.
And powerful nuggets of God's word.
His mercies begin afresh each morning.
We had pressed from every side, but we are not crushed.
Right place. We desire to be in the sweet space.
The place of praising, the place of singing lips.
Only on Hope Devotion.
Dunia ni mali ya Bwana na vyote vijazavyo.
Nguruwe ni mali ya Bwana au?
Ni mali ya Bwana.
Bata ni mali ya Bwana?
Ni mali.
Wewe kula basi. Acha mambo mengi.
Yesu ndiye njia.
Muislamu yoyote ambaye anamkataa Yesu, kwanza sisi tunamjua ni kafiri.
Bila huyu Yesu, mtu aendi kwa Baba.
Ungana na walimu wa neno wanapochambua masuala tata katika Biblia, wakiyalinganisha na vitabu vingine vya kidini.
Je, kuna ushahidi wowote Muhammad aliwahi Qur'ani? Na hii Qur'ani muliitoa wapi? Halo?
Piga simu moja kwa moja na pia uchangie kupitia SMS na Facebook.
Itawezekana kitabu cha Biblia ambaye mwanakiamini kuwa ni kitabu cha Mwenyezi Mungu ishindwe kumtabiri mtu ambaye ana wafuasi zaidi ya bilioni 100 duniani.
Je, Muhammad amekufa ama yuko hai?
Ungana nasi kila Jumamosi saa 2 hadi saa 4 ya usiku kwenye runinga uipendayo ya Hope TV.
Glad you're still with us. Now in business, Carrefour has opened its first store in the nation's second largest city of Mombasa. The store becomes Carrefour's 9th countrywide store and officially opened its doors today to customers at the City Mall in Nyali, Mombasa. With over 2,000 square meters of selling area, the new supermarket will be home to a variety of quality products to address the immediate shopping needs of customers who live, work and vacation within Mombasa and its surrounding areas. Frank Moro, country manager of Carrefour Kenya, said they are looking forward to extending quality goods and services to their customers in the coast. And county governments have been urged to embrace enabling policies and legislate laws that will make the expansion of internet infrastructure less costly. ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru says county governments are the first-line facilitators in the government's quest to expand the country's internet connectivity and should therefore put in place friendly policies and legislation that would bolster the internet expansion program. The CS said the devolved units can contribute towards enabling the country achieve broad internet coverage by first waiving the charges that are usually levied on the national government before laying of the requisite backbone cabling that supports internet penetration across the country. Musheru made the remarks during the launch of a teleconferencing facility at the Nyeri County Assembly grounds.
I am hoping that all other county assemblies are going to follow Nyeri, and because of this improvement, I think that position, #1, can now be awarded. Whoever it is that was awarding, is it World Bank? They should now just push you to #1 because now you've adopted digital. Let me also say I am very happy that within BBI, there's a lot of facilities for youth and the digital economy. The digital economy will move us forward in a big way.
This one was a game changer in as far as the COVID-19 was concerned. And I must say here, and echo the words of the speaker, that thank God we have Joe Mucheru where he is. Because when I saw a letter on my desk telling me that we were going to get an offer of this signed by him, I just said, thank God.
The facility has enabled the Assembly to, 1, provide teleconferencing services for both members of staff, with plenary deliberations being carried out remotely. Committee sittings are taking place seamlessly without concern on limitation of number of participants per session. 3, enabled live feeds of Assembly sittings to be instantaneously shared to the public and other HON members. And 4, being a house of record, the facility has boosted effective management and reporting of conferencing sessions.
Manufacturers have launched a project to promote youth employment and entrepreneurship through skills development. The Promoting Youth Employment Through Entrepreneurship and Skills Development project is run by Kenya Association of Manufacturers in partnership with German Development Corporation. It seeks to create job and entrepreneurship opportunities by linking competence-based education and training and technical and vocational education and training graduates with opportunities in local industries. Speaking during the launch, Principal Secretary State Department for Vocational and Technical Training, Dr. Julius Juan, expressed optimism that the project shall increase the number of young people who venture into manufacturing.
Today we are here to launch the second phase of the E4D program. And through this program, we shall continue to support technical skills development among the young people and strengthen links between industry, TVET institutions, and students. We also want to promote the continuous career development of technical trainers so that we ensure that the trainers are able to meet the manufacturers' changing needs, and also work on ensuring that we also increase the participation of women in the manufacturing sector.
Today, as we launch this important program, Employment for Development Program, which aims at increasing youth employability, this is something that for us as a State Department, we are very happy. And we're looking at how everyone is joining us to discuss and see how we can create more jobs for our young people. And so as a government, we are looking at all what is possible to see how this population can be engaged fully. And then we, as a government and as a country, we reap the demographic dividends.
From the State Department of VTT, Vocational and Technical Training point of view, we can't ask for better. Allow me to start by saying that when we look at the number of the youth who left secondary school last year, I always give that example. We had 660,000 plus who sat their KCSE exams. Of that number, 122,000 plus, few hundreds, have been admitted into the university. Some have already reported, some will be reporting. That means we have over 540,000 youth who finished their secondary schooling, and they're looking for opportunities, gainful opportunities on training and how they can make their lives better. So we thank you very much for this initiative. And I think it's exciting to know that they can do this online. I think that is, because young people these days have their phones, they have their laptops, and so if they can access the opportunity to check what exists in the industry, to check, apply for internship, and even apply for jobs.
Now in sports, the Kenya Under-17 national team entered its 10th day of residential training on Wednesday ahead of the CECAFA Under-17 Championships in Kigali, Rwanda. The team is gearing up for the regional showpiece that is set to be played later this month. This is after their Under-20 counterparts finished 4th in the just concluded CECAFA Under-20 after suffering a 2-1 loss to South Sudan. Elsewhere in the UEFA Champions League, Manchester United suffered a 3-1 defeat at Old Trafford to Paris Saint-Germain PSG. Meanwhile, the UEFA Europa League gets underway tonight with a host of matches staged for tonight. That and more in our sports roundup with Joseph Maingi.
The Kenya Under-17 national team is gearing up for this year's CECAFA Under-17 Championship to be staged in Kigali, Rwanda later this month. The team yesterday enhanced its preparation for the regional showpiece with a friendly match against National Super League side Kibera Black Stars at the Cambridge School grounds. Earlier on, the Kenya Under-17 Selection Committee, led by the coach, went across the country to search the talents to merge with the current team for the CECAFA tournament that will run from the 13th of this month to the 28th. Under-17 captain has expressed optimism of not only taking part and winning the showpiece, but also progressing to the African Cup of Nations Under-17 tournament.
The preparation has been good. We're learning new things. Just a bit more time, we'll be there where we want to be. I believe our team is strong enough to qualify for AFCON, leave alone also win the tournament itself. I think if we just put our minds and heart, everything to it, I think we'll be able to win. But it's all in God's hands, and hopefully we get a positive result.
To summer UEFA Champions League last night update, and Cristiano Ronaldo scored his 750th goal of his career as Juventus is to a 3-0 victory against Dynamo Kiev in a match that was reffed by Stephanie Flappert, who became the first woman to take charge of men's Champions League fixture. In Spain, Olivia Giroud scored 4 goals in a comprehensive Chelsea victory over Sevilla that ensured the Blues take the top spot in the Champions League Group E. Manchester United's Champions League campaign is hanging in the balance as 2 goals from Neymar helped Paris Saint-Germain secure a 3-1 victory at Old Trafford. Elsewhere, Barcelona are favourites to finish top of Group G as they maintained their 100% start to the Champions League with a comfortable 3-0 victory at Ferencvaros. Borussia Dortmund secured their place in the last 16 of the Champions League despite missing their top scorer, Erling Brand Haaland, as they drew to Lazio 1-1. Tonight, the UEFA Europa League takes center stage as AC Milan will be trying to return to winning ways in Group H as they host Celtic at the San Siro. Leicester makes a trip to Ukraine to play Zoya, having already booked their place in the last 32. Napoli travelled to Alkmaar for a crucial meeting with the Dutch side and could complete a comfortable double win tonight. Arsenal, on their part, will be desperate to bounce back to winning ways after having lost to Wolverhampton Wanderers in the English Premier League when they face off with Rapid Vienna. Benfica head into the Europa League encounter with Lech Poznan on Thursday night, knowing that a victory will confirm their place in the last 32. In France, Nice host Bayern Leverkusen in the Europa League with the host needing to win by 4 or more goals to keep their extreme slim hope of progressing to the knockout stages alive. In Italy, leaders Roma will be out to wrap up their first place in Group A as they host closest challenger Young Boys. And finally, Tottenham Hotspur will be looking to book their place in the Europa League knockout stage when they travel to Austria to play Lask Linz. Well, that's your sports. I'm Joseph Maingi.
That's where we conclude Newswatch tonight. Thank you for your valuable company. My name is Teresia Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Have a good night and God bless you.